Okay, that sounds reasonable. I'm John Chiorini. I came to White Stag either in 57 or 58, depending on when you want to believe the program started. I was asked to teach a Campcraft program for a group of scouts led by a guy named Bela Banathy, who were in Pico Blanco for a week of some kind of training. That was 1957. And after I taught the camping skill, Bela said, "Would you like to be my senior patrol leader next year?" And I said, "Huh?" And he briefly explained what he was trying to do. And so in 58, I was the senior patrol leader for what I guess is the first White Stag. I'm not sure we even called it White Stag at that time. If you'd looked at it, it would have been what we call Phase 2 right now. We had leadership training, we had games, we had the White Stag legend. We didn't quite have all of the competencies yet, not that I can remember, but that's who I am and when I got involved.
And what are you doing now, and how long have you been involved?
I am an assistant advisor for Phase 2 this year, and on and off, I've probably been involved 25 to 30 years, off and on.
And how has the program impacted your life?
Oh, you've got to be kidding. I have spent my entire life either leading groups or teaching leadership. And and I've been doing that since I left the program. I started teaching, my first leadership class was in 1961. It was an Air Force summer camp program. I taught a leadership class in 1962 in Air Force ROTC. And I've been teaching management or leadership continuously ever since.
Why do you keep coming back?
You know, I ask myself the same question. Because I think somebody said, you got to be of service. And by the way, helping others discover leadership may be the most important thing you can do. And it hooked me as a kid. It hooked me as a young adult. And I just keep coming back because the program is all about passing on to a next generation, and I've seen a couple more generations come through, passing on to the next generation or watching those you mentored pass on to the next generation the concepts of leadership. We talk about the infinity principle, and we use it in a lot of different ways, but I've always thought the infinity principle for White Stag was help someone discover leadership so they can help somebody else discover leadership, and it goes on and on and on.
Do you have one favorite memory of White Stag?
Yeah, I do. So a guy named Fran Peterson handed me a book by Kate Sarity on the White Stag, the legend, and said, tomorrow evening, why don't you figure out how to tell this as a story? And that's my favorite memory. And it's odd that standing up and talking to people started at that point.
And you were how old when he said that to you?
Oh, I was the senior patrol leader. That was 1958. So that's my favorite memory. I have one more. I got to share one more because it happened also in 58. And it's a set of questions that I have liked to ask others. I'm sitting around a campfire, and Bela said, "John, who are you? Where are you going? And how are you going to get there?" And to this day, I can't remember my answer. But I've loved the thought of periodically asking other kids in camp, where are you going and how are you going to get there? With the idea that the stag leads but you got to figure out where the stag is leading you and what you expect when you get there at the end. So that's 2. You asked for 1, I gave you 2.
Have a great week. Thanks, John.
Oh, I'm going to have a ball.